Game number 2 of the Rugby World Cup, which is just a few hours away as I record this. Not this game, but the Japan-Russia game. It's the Wallabies up against Fiji. It's one of those opening games which is one of the big tests on how the pool is going to go. A lot of expectations on Fiji to get a result over a Wallabies team, which at least in 2018 didn't have its best run. They had one good result over the All Blacks this year, but some other results that were a wee bit lackluster. So, it's going to be a really fascinating one. If you look at history tells you the Wallabies should do this one pretty comfortably because they've had a 5-zip most recent record over Fiji, and the last time they beat Australia was 1954, which is not in my mum's lifetime, but in my old man's lifetime. So that kind of gives you a scale of the things. These last 5, though, do go back to 2007, so they're two teams that don't meet all that often. But of those last 5, as I said, it's Australia 5, Fiji none. The average score being 44 points to 8. That being said, the most recent score was 37-14 in 2017 in Australia, which is at least a wee bit closer than that 44-8, but still a pretty comfortable win to Australia for that one. So I'll have a look at the lineups. I'll put those in the description so you guys can have a look as well. But yeah, man, it's not too far away. Pretty pumped. Kurtley Beale is at fullback for this one. Obviously, Falau is doing his own thing outside of rugby, with Rugby Australia having their legal battle. So obviously he's not there. So Kurtley Beale's in at 15. Christian Leali'ifano is in at 10. He gets the nod with Nick White. So that kind of regular duo of Bernard Foley and Will Genia. They're not on this one. Well, Genia is on the bench, but Bernard Foley is not there at all. James O'Connor and Samu Kerevi make up the midfield. I initially liked the idea of Kurandrani and Kerevi in the midfield, but to be fair, when James O'Connor came in at 13, they did seem to improve a touch there, I guess. Two quite different players in Kerevi and O'Connor, so they kind of seem to, I guess, complement each other pretty well. Reece Hodge on one wing and Marika Koroibete on the other. A lot of flack has been given to Reece Hodge for being slow. And I feel like after those recent performances, he's proven that he's not slow. He's just not that quick off the mark. So once he gets going, he's actually got some gas. It just takes him a wee while to kind of get into that top gear. But if you can get him into some space, that shouldn't be a problem. But he's not kind of a guy to beat a man in a small gap. But hey, we will see. He's playing some pretty quick players in the Fijian guys, so he'll have to have some gas about him. That's the backs. Scotty Seo, Tolu, Latu, and Allan Alaalatoa are the front row for this one, so they'll be wanting to put a bit of squeeze on the Fiji forwards. Seo and Alaalatoa had pretty good seasons for the Brumbies, so if there's one thing that's going for them in their forward pack, it is that Brumbies connection. And Latu is a bit of a pilferer as well when he gets over the ball. So wee bit of a target with his temper. He's been known to be provoked before, so don't be surprised if there's a bit of off the ball stuff targeted his way to see if they can get him to react, because the refs are going to be pretty hard on everything, so we'll see. Izack, Rodda, Rory, Arnold in the second row. Interestingly, though, one of the main talking points is David Pocock is back. He's there with Michael Hooper, so that's that famous Pooper combination is reunited, but this time it's not at the expense of a genuine number 8, because Hooper is playing at 7, Pocock's playing at 6, so they've still got room for Naisarani at 8, so they've got that genuine number 8, but they, I guess, are sacrificing a bit of bulk at number 6 to put in David Pocock, who's pretty much a 7 with a 6 on his back now. But I mean, he can bust it up with the best of them. It's just, over the breakdown, he's really going to cause carnage. So yeah, that's the Wallabies lineup. Uelese, Slipper, Kepu, Coleman, Lukhan, Lukhan, Salakaia-Loto, that's force of habit. Genia, Tamua, and Dane Haylett-Petty on the bench. It's a pretty strong looking Wallabies lineup. In terms of the Fijian guys, the big names are definitely there in this lineup. You got Ma'afu, Matavesi, and Ravai in the front row. I think we've seen a bit of them recently in all the warm-up stuff, and they've kind of held their own. So how they go against the Wallabies, who aren't traditionally that big scrummaging pack, but from the Super Rugby stats actually did remarkably well, will be one to watch. Nakarawa is there in the second row, and he is top class. I do like Rory Arnold as well, but him going up against Nakarawa is going to be a fascinating one to watch. Two very different players. One kind of just the ultimate lock. He gets, this is Rory Arnold, he just gets that line-up ball. He disrupts the mauls with his just pure size that he's able to get over and snag the ball carrier, whereas Nakarawa is just the silkiest skills player you will find wearing any jersey on his back, any numbered jersey. Wanga Niburotu, God, I had that better when I was off camera. He is captain at 6. I saw him interviewed and he seems pretty pumped. Talking about how there's some Fijians in that Aussie team, so that's a thing, but to be fair, there's some Aussie-born guys in the Fijian team as well, so a bit of a swap. Yato is there as well at 7, and Mata at 8, so that's a very, very good back row. That battle of the back rows will also be fascinating stuff. Lomani and Volavola at 9 and 10. Volavola is the guy I mentioned with the Aussie connection. I think he's born in Sydney. I'm kind of glad it's him at 10, so ahead of Matavesi, but that's just me. I prefer Volavola. Interesting, Radra is on the wing rather than in the midfield. I mean, that guy, when he played Rugby League, I don't really follow Rugby League, but even I saw that guy just tearing it up on the highlight reels pretty much every time the news was on. So he's there on the left wing. Tuisova, who's another guy who's just a highlight reel machine, is on the right wing. Murimurivalu at fullback, Nayatha and Botia in the midfield. It relegates Gonova to the bench. Veitokani is going to have to cover probably 10. Whether they take Volavola off, though, will be a matter for John McKee. But, yeah, man, it's a pretty strong-looking Fijian team. And it's a pretty decent, pretty strong. I'm being a bit Kiwi and not giving them the right word there. It's a pretty strong-looking Wallabies team. So this is going to be a very, very good match to watch. It's like 4 o'clock, I think, here in New Zealand, so it's a reasonable time as well. Bookies have got Australia by 16 last time I checked, and Rugby Forecast, the algorithm, has Australia by 14, so 2 tries or more is what the predictions both ways have got. But I think most of the fans would rather see something a wee bit closer than that. Not Wallabies fans, of course, but neutrals would like to see a pretty open, expensive game with some good tries and whatnot. But we will see. You guys let me know your thoughts on this one. How well do you think the Wallabies are going to go? Do you think Fiji can cause an upset? As I've mentioned before, they kind of seem to be a team that everybody supports as a second team. But you guys let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.